Hello students, let's read this problem together. Mary earned $25,460 for the year working as a teacher aide. This year she will pay 25% for income tax. What would be her net income? So our question is asking, what would be her net income? Remember that the net income is the money that she has left after taxes. So we're going to take her income, her gross income, which they gave us, and then subtract whatever we figure out for the taxes. Since this income tax problem has a percent involved, then we will use our percent bar before we set up our proportion. So we have 0% at one side of the bar and then 100% on the opposite side of the bar. This is the percent side, and on the top, we are going to represent the corresponding dollar amounts. So the corresponding dollar amount for 0% would be $0, and the corresponding amount for 100% would be the total income, which is 25,460. So now on our percent bar, we're going to find where 25% would be. So we know that if we mark about halfway through, that would be 50%. So then if we go half of here, this would be 25%. And so we want the corresponding dollar amount on the other side of the bar. So now we can set up our proportion because we know that 25,460 corresponds to 100% of the income, but we want to know how much money corresponds to 25%. So let's set up this proportion. We have x over 25%, so x over 25, that should be equal to 25,460 over 100. So we can use our cross products, and we're going to multiply 25 times 25,460, and that is going to be equal to x times 100, or 100x. Since we want to isolate x, we know we're going to divide by 100, but whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other side. We can now eliminate 100 because 100 divided by 100 is 1, and we are left with x equals, and on this side we're going to evaluate 25 times 25,460 and divide it by 100. Or we can simplify that, and we can bring our 25 outside, and we can use 25,460 divided by 100. And if we do that, we're now going to have 25 times. Remember what happens when we divide by 100? Our decimal goes twice this way, two place values to the left, and so we would have 254.60. And so if we multiply those two numbers together, we will have the amount of income tax. So let's work that out. So we have 254.60 times 25. So 0 times 5 is 0. 6 times 5 is 30, carry 3. 4 times 5 is 20, and 3 more is 23, carry 2. 5 times 5 is 25, and 2 more is 27, we carry 2. 2 times 5 is 10, and 2 more is 12. We have finished with our 5, so we can put a placeholder. 0 times 2 is 0. 6 times 2 is 12. We carry 1. 4 times 2 is 8, and the one we carried is 9. 5 times 2 is 10. Carry 1. 2 times 2 is 4, and the one we carried is 5. So if we add up our two rows, we get, let's see, 9 plus 7 is 16. That's 3, and 5 plus 1 is 6. Now remember, we did have decimals, so we need to make sure that we count our decimal places. I have two numbers behind the decimal. I see them right here, 1, 2. This one, in this factor, we don't have any decimal places, so we just need 2. So in my answer, I'm going to make sure to come from the back, 1, 2. And so we get $6,365. So since we have figured out that $6,365 is the income tax, I'm going to mark that here. We might think that we are done because we've done a percent box. So $6,365 is the income tax, but let's look at the question again. The question said, what would be her net income? So remember, we are looking for the net income, not just the tax amount. So to find the net income, what we have to do is subtract. So we have 25,460. That was the income. And then the taxes was 6,365. So we're going to subtract those. So we're going to borrow and regroup. 10 minus 5 is 5. 5 we cannot take away 6 from 5, so we're going to borrow and regroup. Now we have 15 take away 6, which is 9. And then we have 3 minus 3 is 0. 5 minus 6, we need to borrow and regroup. And that gives us 15 minus 6, which is 9. And 1 minus nothing is 1. So 19,095 is our net income. So we find our corresponding answer, which is A, would be the correct answer. So remember, in this kind of question where they ask for the net income, you find your income tax, but then you have to subtract the amount they gave us for the year, the income amount, and the tax amount that you get from your percent box to find the net income.